hurt.
I make art because it's real. It's lasting. A permanent record. A moment frozen in time forever. But throw too much light on the marks I make with my colourful ink and it will fade as the world spins around the sun. Nothing lasts forever. Not really. So how do you make that mark that endures time and turmoil? To be the top dog, you gotta bark louder. Work harder, think smarter, because in the end, one flick of a switch, one flick of a flame, and it's all gone. Just light beams in the sky, just snowflakes in the wind.
You've probably heard the criticism that when you own an NFT, you don't own the art, just a reference to an image file, like this, see? And if that image file is deleted, then your NFT and its precious art is worthless. The vast majority of NFTs still rely on Web 2 architecture like AWS to store the JPEG that represents the art. And if the file gets deleted, then you can kiss that art goodbye. But this is not an NFT problem, it is a digital problem. In fact, all digital files, as convenient as they are, present a major problem for long-term archiving. In the 19th century, a huge geomagnetic storm, known as the Carrington event, swept the Earth. If that were to happen today, the destructive effects on digital storage would be incalculable. And this is why it's such a big deal when an NFT collection is completely stored on-chain. Art blocks pieces are generated from a script stored on-chain. Cyber brokers recently committed their entire collection to the chain, but it is very, very expensive to do this, and it can only really work if you've designed the series in the most efficient way to make that possible. But there are other options, of course, decentralized ones such as IPFS, Arweave, or Filecoin. But even these are not without risk. IPFS, or the Interplanetary File System, calls itself a peer-to-peer hypermedia protocol designed to preserve and grow humanity's knowledge. But there's a catch in the way it's designed. It uses nodes like this, but your data might only exist on a single node in the system. And if that node decides it would much rather host something else, or just doesn't want to run a node anymore, then it could disappear like that. Which of course makes it centralized, which in a weird and wonderful way brings us to this. This is an anamorphic lens. Look at that, beautiful thing. And that basically it's all about cinema. See, the film industry went through a major shift from celluloid to digital 10 years ago, and it took a while for old stalwarts to make the shift, but with the arrival of powerhouse digital cinema cameras like the Arri Alexa LF, or basically anything made by Red, or even this incredible Sony FX6, the industry went from majority film to majority digital in a matter of only a few years. But, you see, the thing about digital is that it presents a little bit of a problem. Look at this crazy mess. The formats are constantly evolving. The media drives, the readers, even the cables that we use, they're always changing. Now, to archive a film shot digitally, you need to store not only the media, but the reader, the cable, and possibly even a computer capable of reading all of that. Archiving in this way becomes incredibly fragmented and cumbersome. But ironically, the solution for this bleeding-edge digital technology has its feet firmly in the past.
Film, as in real film, celluloid, the magic photosensitive material that used to run through projectors at your local cinema. Unlike digital files, the only thing you need to read the medium is a light source, a flashlight, even a naked flame. The film itself is high-resolution silver halide with a longevity of 500 years, and it's produced by Pickle, a Norwegian archiving specialist, with the data you provide converted from binary into high-resolution QR codes, which are then scanned onto the film. It's offline, it's immutable, and it's permanent.
There it is. You know, it's not enough to just scan the data. You also need somewhere to store it, somewhere with predictable, stable environmental and geopolitical conditions. It turns out there is only one such place anywhere on Earth. So, we went there. This is Longyearbyen. We're in the Arctic Circle, and that is the northernmost place you can get to with a scheduled flight. About 3,000 people living there. But before we get into why we're here, I brought along a friend to help give you some facts about this incredible place. You asshole.
In many ways, Longyearbyen feels very, well, normal, with local bars, a school, and a bustling tourism industry. But there are laws here that are found almost nowhere else in the world.
No cats allowed on this island because they're scared of rabies, because of the foxes. I say get rid of the foxes, save the cats!
According to the Svalbard Treaty, anyone who settles here is allowed to stay here. Doesn't matter who you are, where you come from. That means anyone in the world can get a job here and just start doing stuff. And they can't stop you.
Whoa, look at that madness.
It's been snowing all morning and the place is like covered in ice. There's literally like ice and then a little dusting of snow on top, and it's so sketchy, it's ridiculous.
It's illegal to die on this island as well, so if you have a terminal illness or you're feeling a bit rough, you're gonna have to get the heck off the island.
He's going to do a jump. Oh yeah. Alcohol. Because there were so many miners here and all the companies were worried about them getting massively off their heads and pissed and not being able to work, you're only allowed to have 24 cans of beer per month. There's a little card, they sign it and they say, you've had your 24 cans, that's enough. Wine, well that's fine, you can have as much wine as you want.
That is the fjord, and then that's the path to the North Pole, right up there. It's like -1 right now, but it feels like -6. Have you ever seen anything like that? It's incredible. Here's another fun thing about Longyearbyen. Everyone has to leave their front door unlocked. Why? Because there are polar bears around here, and if you need to get inside, to get away from the polar bear, you need front doors to be unlocked. So, no front door keys. The guys are telling us that like, the weather's really bad because it's not cold enough.
Yeah, the weather's a weird one. When we arrived, it was actually raining, and this is meant to be the coldest time of the year. And that meant that everywhere you walked, you were one step from serious sock soakage. But that warm weather tricks you into feeling like you're not really as far north as you actually are. 24 hours later, we were reminded.
We're in a storm. Oh my god.
Great time! I can't see. Robin almost fell over the camera. He can't open his eyes. I can't open my eyes. It's gonna look amazing.
And you know what? It actually kind of did. And it's that wildness and remoteness that is the great appeal of this place.
If you look at it on a map from above, it's in the middle of nowhere. How did people get here? I mean, really, how did they get here? You imagine in the old days, it just with the old rowboats just getting on the water and just hoping for the best, and then bam, they found this place. It's truly nuts. And then they found coal.
The story of Longyearbyen really is the story of coal, the Store Norske mining company, and some of the purest coal to be found anywhere in the world. Miners often worked in seams of less than a meter, digging the coal out by hand. Coal production in Svalbard was due to be completely phased out by 2023, but with things the way they are in the world right now, it seems likely that will have to be postponed. The coal's legacy, however, will live on long after production ceases.
So now you know all about this bananas place. Let's get into the real reason why we are here.
You see, buried deep in one of the old Longyearbyen mines is a unique storage facility run by Pickle. Sealed in 3-ply foil bags sit reels of pickle film, printed with documents from the Vatican Archive, political histories, artistic masterpieces including Rembrandt and Munch. And in 2020, GitHub stored 21 terabytes of open source code in the vault. Their mission? To preserve open source software for future generations by storing code in an archive built to last 1,000 years. And that is why we're here, joining a group of artists and developers to secure NFTs in the vault. And it was all dreamt up by Paul Price of Top Dog Studios.
The idea is that we are protecting digital art, the art itself, the provenance of information from the blockchain, so who minted a particular piece, how many times it's transferred to the wallets, who's purchased that piece. And the idea is that that's going to be protected for 1,000 years, deep beneath the permafrost, in the event of some sort of man-made or natural disaster. This information, these NFTs, this digital art can be restored and looked at and enjoyed by future generations. I actually have my code stored here as part of the GitHub program. And I got this little badge on my GitHub profile, and it shows that I'm a part of the Arctic World Archive, and that's where the idea came from.
This place has genuine credentials. Its next-door neighbour is arguably the single most important storage facility in the world.
Just over that hill over there is the Svalbard Seed Vault, the famous place where all this organic material, seeds of the earth, are stored just in case anything goes wrong. But over here is Mine 3. And this is the site of the Arctic World Archive, a repository for important cultural artifacts of a digital nature are buried deep in that disused coal mine. And we are going to put some NFTs inside.
It's cool and cold.
So this is it. We're heading into the mine right now. And it's wooden planks, and it's kept at a very nice temperature. Although the guy did say it's not cold enough. Can you believe it? It's not cold enough. Check this out.
The Norwegian government spent nearly $9 million constructing the Svalbard Seed Vault, but its original home was right here in Mine 3. Amazingly, it's still active.
In '86, they began a 100-year project where they want to see how long can seeds actually last inside the permafrost, because no one knows. But today they are experiencing how out of the permafrost, for example in Siberia and Canada, old forgotten seeds they have begun to, well, grow again.
300 meters into the mine, but deep beneath the mountain and the all-important permafrost, we finally arrive at the Arctic World Archive.
So this is it. We are in the Arctic World Archive. And the whole point about this is that it's in the permafrost. It's in part of the mountain that never melts. And that means the temperature is constant. And that means that you can protect things and actually keep them protected no matter what's going on up there, way above us in the world. And that, as we probably know right now, is pretty important.
And at last, the artists could see close up the analog film that would store their precious digital artwork.
Is that?
Moon landing.
Wait.
That's Mona Lisa.
Mona Lisa. Oh my gosh. That is so
Pyramids
cool.
of Giza.
Wait,
Who killed JFK?
that is so
Yeah, that's awesome.
cool.
Beethoven.
Mona
You don't even need
Lisa.
the reader, you get it.
So the thing is that we cannot put color pictures, but the images itself are a representation of the information that's stored on the film. We can of course also put documents and information like that. We have a history with film that goes back more than 150 years. So we know a lot how this medium is behaving over time. So we've been testing this up against ISO standards for polymer base, which says more than 500 years. But we believe in these conditions we can talk 2,000 years. So it's a very abstract number of years, but it's really in the long-term perspective because it's so robust. It's cold, it's dark, it's low oxygen, it's very dry. It's ideal for a storage medium like this.
And like me, you're probably wondering how our future selves could ever read the QR codes used to represent the data on the film. Good question.
All the information about the file formats, so how to decode the QR code and the readers for these file formats on the pickle film itself, We do this both in a machine-readable language and also in a human-readable language. So the idea is that in the future we can interpret and understand what has been stored on this media, and then have a recipe on how to get this information back.
I was also really curious to know what the AWA thought of all this wild Web3 wackiness. What did they make of it all?
So for us to have you here today to kind of see the emerging, the kind of the ideas of Web3 and the metaverse, which for us is quite fascinating. We think you're onto something. We think that we need to store digital information permanent, and we need to have an understanding of what it is when we made it, because it's very volatile, very difficult to maintain and keep over a long time. And that's what Pickle and Arctic Polar Archive is working on every day.
So now, after their long journey to the frozen north, it was time to put the NFTs to rest in the vault.
Top Dog Studios have invited you here today to make history. We are depositing the first NFTs into the AWA.
So it's a pleasure to invite Top Dog Studios to deposit a full reel for perpetual storage of NFTs, digital art. In
1,000 years.
A lot of information. Yeah. It is a little bit heavy.
It's quite heavy, yeah. It's very heavy.
I'll show you the location. You can place it down here and at the left.
At the bottom?
Yeah, that one on the left there, so we have a position for that.
There we go.
Congratulations.
That's incredible.
We have just made history by depositing the first NFTs in the Top Dog Studios non-fungible vault. 55% of NFTs have already been lost, unfortunately, due to data loss. So this is just the best way of securing these significant pieces.
We've got Fuck Render, we've got Mad Dog Jones, Trevor Jones. We've got projects like Curio Cards, who helped define the NFT standards on Ethereum as we know them today. So for NFTs, that's quite significant for us in this industry. But going forward, we're going to be inviting more projects, more artists to get involved. So if they want to store their art here as well, then we're going to be making more deposits in the future.
I was an English teacher, and art has always been my passion. And to think that my artwork is going to be stored in this vault for 1,000 years, and somebody could be opening it and seeing it in years to come, it's incredible. We've
created the world's first non-fungible vault.
It feels amazing. Eponym was always about creating tools and empowering creative individuals. We wanted to give people the tools to express themselves as artists, and now we're giving them the tool to preserve their art and be a part of future history and future culture.
Who would have thought, NFTs would have brought us here? I kind of first got into these a year or so ago. It's been quite a crazy journey so far, and now I'm in the middle of the mountains in the snow, and we're burying artwork for future generations, and we're still only just getting started, really.
What Top Dog did here is they took a bunch of collections that have novelty behind them, have history behind them, and put them together.
I don't think it's for us to decide what is going to be influential or culturally significant. At the end of the day, it's art. A lot of art that we think is now important wasn't back in the day when it was made. So in 10, 100 or 1,000 years from now, people will be looking at the art that we've stored here today, and it's for them to decide, right? It's there, they get the decision.
So that's it. The very first NFTs have been placed into the vault. And it's a weird one, this, because we think of NFTs as this digital, kind of almost throwaway art, but it's meant to be something that endures. Right over there is the seed vault. The whole point of the seed vault is to have a backup for the important crops that the world needs. And it's also a place where it doesn't matter if you are Russian or North Korean, it doesn't matter, none of that matters in the seed vault. What matters is the preservation of the material, the preservation of the things that we need as human beings to live. And there's a big question here in Svalbard, because this is a place that is warming up faster than anywhere else on the planet. And it does make you think about our place in history, how long we're going to endure. And I think what Top Dog Studios have managed to do here is place that question into a context that we can truly understand. You walk into a vault, there's a physical copy of something, it's air-gapped. And that matters, actually. It does. And I just hope that we can put the snark to one side and actually think about what's going on here, and maybe accept that we do need to do more to preserve what matters around us. The planet, art, culture, the very things that make us human. Because if we're not careful, they will get wiped out. And nobody wants that.
It's impossible not to be wowed by this place. The people are warm, generous, and funny, and you can feel the hand of history everywhere. We took a midnight snowmobile trip onto the tundra to search for nature's greatest generative art show. But sadly, once again, we were right. But none of that matters. Top Dog Studios have made history, elevating NFTs to the status of artifacts worthy of preserving in the permafrost. And I found myself wondering, who will be next to beat a path to this Arctic wilderness?
What an incredible place, what an incredible journey, what an incredible story. From Svalbard, this was the Defiant. Ah! It went right down! Oh, you asshole! Oh, that's so unpleasant! No, f off. Oh my God, that's unpleasant.
Save the cat! That really hurt my leg.